Every few years, this picture of a Klein bottle climbing frame will go viral in the mass corners of the internet. This is when it was retweeted by the UCL Department of Mathematics. They went with Kleining frame, which is very funny. And every time I see this, I think, who has made a Klein bottle climbing frame? Where is it? Why are there horses in the background? Why does it look so disused? And I decided once and for all, forget wondering, I'm gonna work it out. I'm gonna find out where this Kleining frame is. And I've got some great news about how that went. But before that, the reason why we care about this weird-shaped climbing frame is it's a Klein bottle, the mathematician's favorite shape. It's a bit like a Mobius loop, which is where you take a strip of paper and then you stick the ends together with a twist. So it's like a twisted cylinder, if you will, except it's a dimension higher. So you start with a tube and you twist the ends by folding one back on itself to make a Klein bottle. So it's kind of like a twisted donut. And famously, my mum knit me a hat, which is shaped like a Klein bottle. So the hat is it's like a tube that gets skinnier and skinnier, and then the tube goes through the side. And if I pull the tube out over here, you can see the tube then folds back on itself and carries around. So it is technically a donut of hat, but it goes through itself and folds back, which means it's also like a weird non-orientatable surface in the same way that a Mobius loop is. The first clue is that UCL retweeted this, and the original tweet here is all in Japanese. We can translate that, Klein's bottle observed. Yes, they saw a Klein bottle. There you are. Bit of a dead end, that one, but it did give me an inkling. Maybe that's in Japan. Spoilers. So I took that image, I did a reverse image search, I trawled through so many pages with various pictures that look a lot like this until I did actually find that original picture. Here it is. It's on this page, and the great news is it's not the only part of the mathematical wonderland that of climbing maths equipment. So there's the Klein bottle, which started this all. There's also a Mobius loop, like monkey bars climbing frame. Down here, there's some kind of saddle point frame. Oh, actually, you know what? You can translate this page. This is Google's best attempt at translating it. And oh, I was pretty close. Mobius strip monkey bar. That's what we've got at the top there. Love it. We've then got Klein's bottle jungle gym. That's the official name. Oh, now we know. Followed by saddle point slide when. I'll decide when I slide. And then Foucault's pendulum swing. Oh, it must be the pendulum that swings and then the whole thing can spin around it, but there is no pendulum on it. Pendulum is not hanging, but children can be seen playing with it. Okay, fine. And then we've got what are called, is a resonance swing. Again, oh here, the swing pendulum is removed and detached when playing. So it looks like there's one bar that you can attach two swings to. So you get some cool resonant interference patterns going on. And then a picture of cherry blossoms. So that kind of confirmed my suspicions that it's in Japan. The whole website's in Japanese. There's a picture of cherry blossoms. This link here, once I've done the translation, the sentence, the route from the south exit of Kurokawa Station to the walking trail and to the Create Science Museum. And you click on that and it loads up a PDF with the walking instructions for how to get there. Now, this seems to be quite old. As far as I can tell, this is like, 2010-ish, so well over a decade ago. Just to triple check, I did actually go and load up the Google Maps I followed the directions on Google Maps. That's where it is, but you click on the destination and there's just pictures of horses. If we go to the satellite image and we zoom in on the horse facility and you get real close, look, you can see it. There it is. Look at this. There is the Mobius loop monkey bars. And that's a top-down view of the Klein bottle jungle gym. So it seems those directions, these are correct. There might still be something there. We don't know. All I knew was the only way to find out for sure would be to go to Japan. So I went to Japan. My journey started in downtown Tokyo, where my wife Lucy and I were staying, and Karakawa Station, while not in Tokyo proper, is in the greater Tokyo region. So we were able to take a series of trains to get out to the station. Once outside the station, we started following the map, which thankfully we had a lot of pictures, and the pictures matched up pretty much exactly with the terrain we were walking through. We were joined by Dave Brooks, a longtime colleague of my wife's and friend of ours. Whenever we're in Tokyo, we visit Dave and his partner. They've been living there for many years now. Dave is based at JAXA, the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. He's in the operations center for the solar spacecraft called Hinode. Him and his wife are both fluent in Japanese, and we thought it would be useful to have someone who could explain on our behalf what on earth we were trying to do in the Tokyo countryside, as well as translate any terrifying looking signs.
I think it says moving of falling branches.
We think. I mean, I'm always worried about falling branches, so. So the path keeps going for a while, and as far as I can tell, it's matching the PDF we had from before. So we've come down those stairs, walking along here. In a moment we should have a right turn, then we pop out and we're crossing a field or something, and then Mass Park. So far so good. We've just had our first glimpse. I can see the Klein Bottle and a Mobius loop from here, but it's across this field. So way over there. The issue seems to be, on the instructions I got online, we're meant to cross this field here, but it's currently all blocked off. Okay, we've come down the fence a bit and there is a path on the side of the field over here. So we think this will get us through to the park. It's moving in the right direction. And what more can you ask for? So you end up coming down this tiny little path, which we assume is an official legal right of way. It dumps you out next to these vehicles. Your vehicles may vary when you get here. And now we're on what seems to be a more official path. And we've just had a glimpse before. It's just so close. There it is. It's up there. I can see a Klein Bottle on the horizon. Now, and there's people. Let's see if we can get around the front. There it is. I'm so excited right now. We just come up the hill and it looks like, I mean, I can see the park. All the bits are just over there, but it looks like it's in a state of demolition. We may be here. We may be the last people to see this, and we can see some people hanging around, so we'll ask them very nicely what's going on. Hopefully they're just putting in a new, bigger visitor center for all the people who will come here now to see Topology World. There's the saddle point. Okay, so we've made it here. There's the Klein Bottle we wanted to find. There's the Mobius loop I was very excited about, and the saddle point. We'll get to that in a moment. But it looks like we've got, oops, I'm breaking things as we go. Over here, that's what would have been the pendulum there, and then you've got the resonance swings would have been here above all that discarded rebar. And I think we're about to have a chat now. We're allowed to have a look.
Thankfully, there was someone around who worked at the horse stables, a very friendly guy, who said we were welcome to have a look around the Mass Playground.
We have found it. They very kindly let me come in, have a climb around on the equipment. We'll do the Mobius loop in a moment, but first, this is it. This is the Klein Bottle. Sadly, I can't get underneath. It looks like there's a lot of stuff being stored under there at the moment, which means I can't access the orientation reversing path, which is probably for the best. For safety purposes, I'll keep my left and right where they are, but I'm going to clamber around on the bit I can access. I'm so excited this thing actually exists. I made it inside. I had to, well, let's not talk about it. I had to go through the surface, but now I'm going to see, oh my goodness, this is made for people smaller than me.
Future Matt here. Funny story, I managed to break the microphone I was wearing at the time approximately now. I mean, who knows how that happened. I look so graceful, and oh, there goes my phone. So the audio from here in will not be up to my usual high standards. We'll do the best we can to fix it in post and with some subtitles.
Did it! Now I think my only way back out again is the way I came in. So it took a lot of effort to be on the outside. No, wait, inside. Hang on. I'm not technically trapped in here. I'm technically outside of the surface. Okay, here we go. Oh no, it's okay. Oh, can I go it that way? Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Up next we have the Mobius loop, very close cousin of the Klein bottle. Let's talk orientation reversing paths, because in the Mobius loop it feels like that's the only path, but technically I could just do like a little path on the surface here, but what I'm meant to do, I want to flip my left and right, is very awkwardly come down here. So I'm still on the same side as where I was a second ago. And then when I go up under there, I'll be the other way around. That's the orientation reversing path. And you're like, well, hang on, you're also on the other side. But it's a perfectly flat surface. So being on one side, same as being on the other side, you should be in the surface. And actually, over here, I've always said it's a very small leap from the Mobius loop to the Klein bottle. Now the Klein bottle, it's a bit more obvious that there are non-orientation reversing paths.
To show what I mean, I've got models of both the Mobius loop and the Klein bottle, and you can see on both of them a disc. So on the Mobius loop we've labeled left and right, and those labels will stick with that disc. So if I move the disc around the Mobius loop, left and right go with it. And the reason we say it's got a non-orientatable path is because if I send it all the way around the surface once, when it comes back to where it started, right and left have swapped. So right is on the left, left is on the right. And you might say, oh, it's on the other side. And that's what I was making a big deal about before. It's in the surface. So it's now the other way up. There's no like above or below that surface. And to be very clear, there are non-orientation reversing paths it could do. We can map one out right here like that. And there are orientation reversing paths as well. And they don't have to all be orientation reversing like this one here, which is putting left and right back where we started. There just needs to be at least one of them. For the Klein bottle here, and we've done our best to try and build it in 3D to kind of match sort of what you could see on the climbing frame. I guess on the climbing frame it was like this over there, but I think this is a clearer way to see it. Again, we've got our disc with left and right labeled, and it's a bit nicer on the Klein bottle because there are kind of less trivial non-reversing paths because you can go all the way around what we're calling the tube, I guess, and you can see when it gets back to where we started, left and right are still on the left and right, but if you go all the way around following the tube the long way around, by the time you get back to where you start, left and right have swapped. So now right is on the left, left is on the right, and so this one here is our orientation reversing path, which makes the whole surface a non-orientatable surface.
Now this ride may be my favorite, even though it's parked up against this adorable Japanese truck. This is labeled on the website as the saddle point, and it is a saddle point. You've got the saddle point right in the middle there, and the saddle point is where you've got zero gradient in every direction, but it's different in different directions. So it curls off one way if you go in this direction, goes up the other way if you go the other direction. It's got negative Gaussian curvature is what I'm trying to say here. This actual surface is, well, that's a hyperbola, but it's a hyperbola rotated around its axis. So it's a hyperboloid, which is indeed a saddle, but on top of that, it's a doubly ruled surface. So that point in the middle where they put a cross, that's not just to indicate that's where the saddle point is, that also shows you, and it would work anywhere, if you pick any point on this surface, there are two distinct lines that go through that point, are perfectly straight, and stay within the surface.
I then got very obsessed with trying to perfectly align the camera so the printed lines on the saddle surface look straight from the point of view of the camera, which was kind of working. But then our friendly horse guy came over and he had a stick to demonstrate that. And even though I couldn't speak Japanese, I didn't need Dave to translate any of this. He clearly had the maths explanation for basically what I just said down pat. And he showed us how to use a stick to demonstrate those are straight lines on a doubly ruled surface. Brilliant. And he was able to demonstrate that a saddle point does indeed look like an actual saddle. We had a lot more fun clambering around, looking at, just being excited by this incredible mathematical playground. And while that was happening, Dave got into conversation with Friendly Horse Guy. And it turns out he's more than just someone who works at the stables. He knows all about the maths park because it was designed and originally built by his late mother. We were able to, at the time, translate that his mum worked in plasma physics, and it seems she thought that students should have more fun when learning mathematics, something I of course completely agree with. And so she's the one who set up this maths park, and since she passed away, her son, Friendly Horse Guy, has continued to keep the equipment around in case people want to come and be excited about maths. They also shared with us the modern website they have for the maths park, which is here. I don't know how I didn't find this in my research before. I guess none of the images are quite the same, or I just didn't do a good enough search. But there it is. There's the sign we saw on the way in. There's the maths park back in its heyday. And down here is his mother. There she is, the person who founded the park. Now, since we were there, Dave did some more research and he emailed me what he found out. So the founder's name is Shizuo Hashimoto. Apologize if I've pronounced that incorrectly. And it turns out she wasn't exactly a plasma physicist. She's actually someone who specialized in plasma spectroscopy and atomic physics. And then Dave realized when he was researching her that she graduated from Tokyo University in 1957, and then she worked as an assistant professor at the ISAS, which is where Dave works now. So when she was working there, that was part of Tokai University. It's now become part of JAXA, the Japanese Space Agency, which is where Dave and my wife, Lucy, Lucy works with JAXA. Dave actually works at JAXA, and he's in the same department. So it turns out the colleague of my wife's that we brought along to help us translate and to have a nerdy fun day out works in the same place as the person who founded the mysterious topological wonderland. If you're excited by things like a mathematical playground or indeed the plasma spectral stuff, anywhere on the nerd spectrum, I can highly recommend the sponsor of today's video, which is Jane Street. They're looking for people to apply for their internships, specifically in Hong Kong. Yes, they have great offices in New York and London. I've been to both, but they've also got an incredible office in Hong Kong. I've been there twice. I think I've been there twice to give a talk. If you haven't heard of Jane Street, they are a quantitative trading firm who take a very nerdy approach to trading on markets all around the world. And while they have got internships in London and New York, they're currently accepting applications for internships in their Hong Kong office. These will run from May until August in 2025. They're open to anyone graduating from university in either 2024 or 2025 and wants to learn more about things like quantitative trading, software engineering, in-depth research, and institutional sales. If you're interested in any of that kind of work, from trading through to software development, I can highly recommend applying for Jane Street's, of course, paid internships, and they will cover your flights to get there. Even if you're nowhere near Hong Kong, wherever you are in the world, they'll get you to Hong Kong and they will cover your accommodation. So actually, if you are looking at what Dave's doing, living in Tokyo and working, and you're thinking that could be fun, an internship in Hong Kong is like, a trial at living overseas, but on easy mode, because they'll organize everything for you. If you want to know more, check out the link in the description. It will look a lot like that for all the details you need. Thanks to Jane Street for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you for watching it. And if you are ever in Tokyo with a day spare, I highly recommend making the pilgrimage out to the maths playground.
And when you get there, please say hello to Friendly Horse Guy for me. He said he was very happy to have more mathematical visitors.